Good morning, good morning, good morning. Wake up, everybody, family. We are here at day 686. Good morning. We are going to have an intergenerational conversation today. I am Gina Leito-Diouf. With us is Mrs. Betty McMillan, my mother, and we will be having a conversation about life as a woman in different decades of our lives. And we hope that you're going to join us and share where you are and what your reflections are on these topics. So, good morning and welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's see who is here in the space today. Okay, we have quite a few people filling in. The seats are getting full. The seats are getting full, Ma. Good morning. Good morning to Terry. Good morning to Sukana. Good morning to Miss Naomi and Miss Marie. Good morning, Akila. Good morning, Sister Afriye. Good morning, Brother Adam. Good morning, Mama Abimbola. Good morning. Oh, Sister Martine is here. Sister Martine was my inspiration for this session. So I'm so pleased that you made it this morning, sis.
Good morning. Happy to see this.
Yes, yes, yes. Your conversation with your beautiful daughter just sparked that something in me to want to have more intergenerational conversations. And so here we are. Good morning, Facebook family. Good morning, and welcome to day 686 of the Wake Up, everybody. We'll be having an intergenerational conversation today. So it's me, my mother, we're on the call, and we'll be looking for a millennial to join us. Good morning, Sister Celia, and welcome. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It's going to be fun.
Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. It's time to get up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. It's time to get up. We're healing, we're dealing, we're growing. Together, together, releasing. We're teaching, we're moving. Together, together, we're learning, discerning. We're striving. Together, together, we're leading, connecting, transforming. Together, together.
All right, all right, all right. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. And welcome to the Wake Up, everybody, day 686. So I invite my mother to unmute. Miss Betty, would you mind unmuting? Good morning. Okay. So I am Gina Leito-Diouf, and I'm joined today by my mother, Miss Betty McMillan. Miss Betty, would you want to say good morning to the folks?
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Naomi and Marie, especially.
Especially, they get a special good morning. As they're her friends. Okay, well, good morning. And see how the Wake Up community is so interconnected because Miss Naomi and Miss Marie are friends with my mother outside of the community, and they're stalwarts in the Wake Up Everybody community as well.
And your grandmother.
And my grandmother. Yes, that's right. So before we begin, I would, Miss Betty, as the elder on the panel, do we have your permission to begin this session today?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. So we're going to have a conversation. We were supposed to be joined by my daughter, Aissatou. This morning, she woke up this morning and did not feel up to it, and she wasn't able to join us today. So we're going to be holding space for her. And if we have a millennial who would be willing to share their voice, I'm not going to call anyone out, but feel free. I know who you are. So feel free to join in and put a millennial perspective in here if you like. And if you don't, there's no pressure. Okay. I'm just glad that everyone is here. So, as I said a little bit in the beginning, Sister Martine had a couple of sessions with her beautiful daughter Asha, as Asha was preparing to go off to college, and I hope she is having a great time out there in Prairie View. Um, so Asha and Martine had these beautiful conversations, and I've always loved intergenerational conversation, and I wanted to have one with us. And so my hope was that, or my plan was that my mother and my daughter and myself would have a three-generational conversation. But you know what they say about plans. So here we are. But we can have a rich conversation, and I don't have any question or any worry because I know that my Woo fam will definitely stand in the gap for ICE. So ICE, we wish you well and hope that you're out here listening. And if not, that you're feeling the vibes. All right. So this picture that you see on your screen, I love this picture. This is my 5 generations picture. This is Aissatou, the baby in the middle. Is who I'm holding. This is when I was holding her. I guess maybe I was about 27. So I guess that's about 27 years ago. And we had a barbecue, and this was a shot that somebody snapped at the end of the barbecue on my front porch. In Jersey City. And that's my mother next to me in the denim. And below my mother is her mother, is Mary McMillan, Mary Louise McMillan. Nana. Tomorrow's Nana would be Nana's birthday. Nana passed. She made her transition in 2009 after getting Barack Obama elected. Okay, January 22nd, she stayed at home for the inauguration, and then she passed away, pleased with herself. And her mother, Montez McCrimmon Davis. That was my great grandmother. And this is my foundation. These are my roots. These are the people that made me who I am right here in this picture. All of those 4 women contributed to making me the person that I am. And so I do treasure this picture, that we were able to get it. It was just sort of an impromptu thing, but it's the only one that I have that has, the 5 generations of us women in our family all together. So I had so many great conversations with these 3 women, and actually now that the baby is a woman with these 4 women. And so I do know the value of talking and getting different perspectives from different generations. And so that's why I wanted us to do this today. Okay. So if we could jump into the conversation by starting with the first slide. So the way we'll work it is I will ask the question of my mother, and then she'll answer, I'll answer, and then I'll ask for you guys to answer in the community. Okay. So mommy, you had a lot of mothers and mother figures, in your life. What did you learn from your mothers about finances?
Well, mainly what I learned was to always have your own finances, to not depend on anybody else to finance you, to have your own finances and to prepare yourself so that you could always make your own finances. And when you get your money, to not just go throw it helter skelter, which I think I didn't learn that, but she did. She tried to teach me that. I'm always helter skeltering, even right now, retired. But my mother and her mother always said, well, if you make $5, you always got to save one of those dollars. Don't spend it all. Just save one for the future. And in that way she learned. She was able to do what she wanted with her life by saving. She was able to buy a house when she didn't almost didn't have a job. As soon as she got a job, as soon as she bought the house, the job laid her off, but she was still able. We lived in that house for 40 years. She paid off the mortgage, and she was always able to do what she needed to do. Even her mother, my grandmother, she was always another one who, for some odd reason, she always had some money from somewhere, maybe her husband's or her job, but she always had some money. And if you needed some, you could go to her. And we're all so generous. They were all so generous. So they would always loan you. They might talk bad about you, but they would help you out if they could. That was what they learned. So as far as finances are concerned, I was taught a lot of things, but I didn't always, I was hard-headed. Okay. So, but anyway, that's basically what I learned. That have your own money, make yourself go to school and learn, get an education so that you will be able to finance your own life.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And those were some wonderful memories of those two ladies. Yeah. And that is true. I recall very vividly. Nana didn't tell us, well, my grandmother, we called her Nana, and we called her mother Grandma. So Nana didn't, she told us, if you make $1, save a dime. That's what she used to tell us as children. If you make $1, save a dime. You don't have to spend everything you get. And so that was what she taught us. And I did learn that from her. And from you, I think I learned about finances. Number one, independence, have your own money, make your own money, have your own money. Don't be relying on anybody. Don't be reliant on anybody to come through and save you. Make sure you can save yourself. Make sure you have money. And also, though I think I learned from you, yes, to spend when you need to, but and I would say the biggest lesson that I learned was not something that you said, but just by watching, was that money is to be used for your life. Like it's not just to be hoarded and amassed and just to have a whole pile of money somewhere. It's nice to have money, but it's also nice to live. And so money is to use the money, use it, buy yourself the things that you want, go have the experiences you want to have with the money. It's, it can give you that, it can give you those experiences. So I learned to be, financially independent. And then I did learn to be kind of a spendthrift because, yeah, I did learn that, when you want something, buy it. So like you, maybe I was a little hard-headed as far as the saving part, as far as what Nana was trying to teach us and what Grandma was showing us, because like you said, she always just had money. And Grandma was a housekeeper. She didn't make tons and tons of money for a living. She took care of a couple of families of surgeons and doctors, and I guess I don't have no idea how much they paid her, but she always, always, always was able to come through for any one of her children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren, nieces, nephews that needed money. She was always the person that people could go to. She helped people go pay for college, boarding schools. Like she was the one, if it came down to it, people knew they could check in and Grandma would be able to help them with something. So we did learn, that's something that you can do with money, that it's not just for you, that it's, it can be shared with your family as well. So when they have their times of need. So community, I'd like to hear from you.
So we have a couple of shares in the chat. And I know that folks have plenty to say about this. So y'all wake up on the Sunday morning, wake up everybody so that we can have a robust conversation about this. Because I was telling Gina when I saw the questions, I was like, oh, oh goodness. So I know there's a lot out here. So Abimbola said, my mother would say, mother may have, father may have, but God bless the child who has its own. And also, money don't grow on trees. I think a lot of us heard that. And then Terry said, save some money, be fine. This is like what her mother taught her, save some money, be financially self-sufficient, take care of basic necessities first, make sure you have a financial way to get back and forth to work, get an education so you can get a good job. And then Cheryl wanted to remind the community that we're answering, what did you learn from your mother or caregiver, I will say, because not everybody was raised by their mother or mother figure, about finances. Rachel shared, finances were never spoken about when I was a child. And so who else wants to share? Or Rachel, you can elaborate on that, or Terry or Abimbola. We know what you've written, but what else can you say to add more to the conversation so that we can understand your experience? So who's willing to share?
I can add.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. So for me, it was never spoken about. I would hear arguments, right, amongst my my mother and her boyfriend at the time, or, you know, my stepfather. And it carried on even through me because I never spoke to my children about finances. However, I did tell them that they have to learn how to provide for themselves as soon as they got their working papers, right? Like, you have to get a job, you have to get a job. I always thought survival more than investment. I always thought about, pretty much survival, and never really like the education, because I wasn't taught that. So it was just like, you got to make it happen, figure it out. You know what I mean? However, you got to do it. So yeah, I'm complete.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you so much for sharing. And I guess, you know, you also shared the impact of not talking about finances, which was, you know, you weren't able to discuss it with your children. And this is the thing that we carry through the generation. We do have there's a wealth boot camp going on right now that I've joined, and it's Coach Alicia Holmes, and she has presented many times in the Wake Up, and it's the Journey to Wealth Boot Camp. And it's because we need to have conversations and we need to learn about money, because we don't understand it. Some of us are very well suited. We were prepared for money. We understand money. We know what to do with it. When we make it, we know how to move it. Some of us don't. Some of us learned it, some of us didn't. But it all, you know, everything that happens to us for a reason, I believe, and it makes us who we are. So wherever you are in your finances journey, embrace it, but know that it can always improve. You know, it can always improve. Oh, we have a hand up.
Yeah, I forgot to say that, well, it just occurred to me that my mother taught us to have life insurance because of certain things that happen along the way. But you never know. And when you have a family, you need to have life insurance for them. And that's financial also, because somebody got to pay for it. But you need to have it because you don't know what's going to happen along the way. Some people think it's a waste to save, to have life insurance, because they figure, well, when I'm dead, I'm gone. I don't care what happens. But what about the people that you're responsible for? You need to have something to take care of them, no, whatever way you want to.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Nana was big on life insurance, and so was her mother. And I know they talked about the insurance man used to come through the neighborhood and collect your nickel, and you gave him your nickel, was it once a week, and he wrote your policy, and they stole so much money from our community like that, those insurance men, because your policy was $1,500, and you had been paying on it for 40 years, and it was $1,500, and no funeral cost, no $1,500.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yes, insurance can be now, used as an investment vehicle. But we had a hand up. My daughter Sukaina's hand was up. Where are you, Sukaina?
I'm here. Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Okay.
Yes, like you said, hi, Grandy, Betty, hi, Mama, Gina,
Good
hi,
morning.
Titi.
Good
Cheryl
morning.
Glenn. So one thing that I learned from you, Mama, about finances is really to make sure, you know, that you have your finances. I know, you know, we had a time going through it with the house and everything, and, you know, the period of austerity from, when was that, 2009, where it was really important that you just, you know, save your money so that you could pay off this house with the mortgage and the bubble and all that. And I guess one thing I learned from that, maybe not from, like you said, not things that might have been spoken, but just from watching, is that I don't want to go be in that position myself. So one thing I took from that is just save your money, you know, don't really, you know, there are things obviously that you want to buy and stuff, but for the most part, me, I just want to not buy and make sure that I have them saving it. I don't know yet what I'm saving my money for, but I know that I just want to be always able to, you know, take care of myself and my own things and not have to be in any type of position of discomfort or strain or anything financially. So maybe that's going back, like listening to you all with the previous generations and just trying to make sure that you have your own and you can take care of your family later on too. But that's just where I am right now. And I'm complete.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
So thank you for sharing. And Sukanna's middle name is Montez, after her grandmother, my great grandmother, her great great grandmother, the one who always had money. And she's Sukanna. I'm not gonna put your business out there, but okay.
All righty. So there was another hand up, and it was lowered. And
Yes,
there
it's
you go.
Akila.
Hi.
Good morning, everyone.
Akila.
So I just wanted to share my perspective. I'm sorry, I'm not ready to be on video right now.
Okay.
So of course, growing up, I was taught to save money, save money. Nana told me all the time, save my money. My paternal grandparents did the same. It was definitely embedded in me. So, and then just seeing you all growing up, all I saw, I just had examples of women who were able to, you know, hold it down and be anchors in our family and, you know, independent women. So I knew that that was what I was going to be. And I made sure to save my money. However, I didn't know how much to save and what was appropriate. So there was a time where what I was saving didn't match my income. So I was never really taught, you know, you should save at least 20 to 30% of what you're making. So I feel like I missed out on that a little bit. And it's not until I started working in banking that I learned, oh, I have not been saving enough. But luckily I caught it early and I was able to go back and to do things a little bit differently than what I was doing before. But I'm just grateful, you know, that everyone always told me to save my money. So it was always in the beginning of my mind, in the front of my head, I should say, to always save my money.
Well, thank you, Kayla, for sharing. Kayla, that is my cousin and my goddaughter. So thank you for coming on and thank you for sharing that perspective. That's true. We didn't know. Yeah, like I said, Nana would say, if you make a dollar, save a dime. But there was not like that in-depth money conversation going on. It was just save, save, save. You know, you got to save your money. So that's true. We needed to learn some of the finer points of it. Do we have anything in the chat going on?
Yeah, there were several shares in the chat. Hold on one second. And Coach Cheryl, let us know if the Facebookers are activated and alive out there. Jackie shared, my mother taught me that education as the only way to be financially independent. She never talked about having a business or multiple streams of income. She always taught me to save, Christmas club, savings account, and do not let other people, example, know what you got. She kept money around the house, in the bank, and had made friends that would help her out. I also grew up when community helped each other out. Celia says, always save for a rainy day was my mom's mantra. Thank you, Celia. Jackie also said my mother kept a policy on all of us, 8 children. One passed at 17, so she was blessed to have the money to take care of the expenses. Terry said the insurance man was the one white man that was not afraid to come in the Black neighborhood to collect the money for the policies. Jackie also said, my mother had Mr. Grant, a West Indian gentleman that always came to the house dressed down in a suit with thick gold jewelry. I thought he was a con man. Is that for insurance, Jackie? Terry, I remember my aunt's grandmothers reaching down in their bras and coming out with green gold. She laughs. I love this. I love this. We have two hands. We have Celia. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. And we have a Frie. So Celia, are you ready?
Yes, so good morning, everybody. Well, I grew up in the islands, so saving was a big thing. My mother was big on that. You have to always save for a rainy day. However, fast forward me moving to the United States, I found out that there's a lack of education and teaching Black people. I'm going to say Black people, I mean our people, about the importance of saving money and how you save money. So I started learning this kind of late. For instance, I'll give an example. When I started to work with the federal government, I was introduced to 401k and TSP and all of that. And I started trying to understand the stock market. But, I find that my kids going to school here, me going to college here, there was never any serious financial literacy that was being taught. People would say things to you, but you didn't understand what this whole stock market was all about. And getting back to the TSP thing, so you went into the 401k. Then they brought the Roth IRA. Nobody really explained to you what that was. And now I'm realizing, when that happened, had I moved over from the regular TSP into that, it would have saved me. It would have been better for me because now I fully understand that all that money is being taxed up front. So by the time I retire, I don't have to pay taxes, whatever the rate is going to be, because the rate keeps going up. So we still have a lot of our people who think just putting the money in the house, is a good way to do it, or just put it in a regular bank account. So I think we need to change that narrative and let our children, or start teaching our children, yes, you have to save, but you have to learn how to save so it can profit you, later on. So I just wanted to share that little piece.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, that's also true. There is no class. I mean, there might be now financial education class in college. I know a friend of mine who went to college and taught a seminar, like a one class for one, it wasn't a course, but she just went in and did one presentation for a class. So I'm hoping that things like that grow so that children do learn how to manage money, because it isn't something that we always know in our community. And it is something that is necessary to understand in order to flourish and be the best, the most, to have the most experience, to have the richest life possible. We should understand how this money works.
And one of the things, just one of the things I grew up to with was the susu, where the people would, everybody say, okay, can you put $50? And if it's 10 people, everybody would contribute that $50, and then one person would collect it at the end of 3 months, or whatever time they decided they were going to let it run. And that was a way of them saving, or also calling it interest-free loans, because you were putting up this money every month. And if it's 10 people, at the end of whatever the time thing, you draw that money and the cycle will start all over again. And I still have friends today who are still doing this. And they don't understand that, try to invest in a stock and you can get more money in the end. And they're just distrustful of the whole stock, the market and all that kind of thing, because they just don't understand it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for all the shares. We had a session a few weeks ago about the SUSU structure. So I love that you're bringing that back around, because it's another thing that many mothers, families, communities have taught. And I know those who identify as West Indian, that's one of the structures of financial flow and success in community and support with purchasing homes and just fueling and setting foundation for businesses and things like that. Really, really powerful how Black folks come up with innovative mechanisms to navigate when there's not a lot of resources, but coming together collectively to create it when it's absent. That's beautiful. Thank you. And this conversation about the susu in the space. Let me see. Terry said, recording in progress. Wait a minute. No, somebody just came into the space, so that was their. Okay. Let me mute them. All right, so let me read this really quickly, and then if y'all are ready, we can move to the next question. But it's up to you and Mama Betty, Gina. So, huh?
You have a hand raised.
Oh, got it. I'm so sorry. Let me read this first, and then we can go to the raised hand. I remember my aunt's, this is Terry, my aunt's grandmother's reach. Oh, she said that already about the bra reach and the green gold. I love that. Jackie said my mother participated in Susu. Nia said, yeah, Susu was my bank for years, and she laughed out loud. I stayed in Susus. Terry said, when I was in high school, I was on an academic track since I was college bound, so I was not offered financial literacy in school. I was taught never depend on a man for money. All right, now, so much here. All right, the other share from Afriye, if you're ready. My apologies for forgetting that, my bad.
No problem. Greeting everyone. So what this brought up for me is when I was in 2nd and 3rd grade, and I was in 2nd and 3rd grade, and I remember my mom, well, 1st grade actually too. I remember my mom always saying, Tootie always got her money in them curtains. She always pins her money in her curtains. And never thought about it. You know, like, why is Tootie pinning, my Aunt Tootie was pinning her money in the curtains, and, you know, she made a hole in her bed where she stuffed her money in. And then as I got older, you know, understood that my Aunt Tootie didn't trust the banks. So she had her own form of banking systems. And then my mom, with her, you know, just being young and hearing my mom talk about the Sunshine Club, because my mom was a teacher. My mom used to always say, yeah, you know, we put money in the Sunshine Club just in case somebody's birthday comes out, we don't have to worry about money. Then another thing my mom would always say is to have money in the house. You always have money in the house just in case there's an emergency. So I learned from that how to save money without my mother directly telling me, these are some of the things you do. The only thing I never did, I never put money in a curtain and, you know, put a hole in the bed to save money, but I always have, you know, some change in the house just in case there's an emergency. And that's all I wanted to share.
Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Miss Betty?
Speaking of having money in the house, I remember when my grandmother had a fire in her house, and we, you know, everybody had to get her out of there, but she made sure that the next day, whether the fireman said it was okay or not, to go back into the house because she had stashed some money somewhere and she needed to see if it was burned or not. But luckily it was safe. She got her money out, but she stashed money. Money in the house.
Yeah, I kind of remember that. Yeah, she was very anxious. That was a very anxious night for her. She didn't know what happened to her money.
To her money.
Yes. And she wasn't telling anybody where it was so they could go get it either.
Right.
She had to go back to that apartment and get that money. I remember that on Eastern Parkway.
That's amazing. Yeah. All righty.
All
so,
right. So we can.
Ready?
Yes, we can move on. Thank you so much, community, for this
Yes,
conversation.
awesome.
Yes,
They were going to deliver. These some deep questions. All righty. So next question, which will also be dropped in the chat. Here we go. And it is, what did you learn from your mother about your body? Your body.
Okay. All right. So, Miss Betty, what did you learn from
Yeah.
your mother about your body?
Well, the first thing that I can remember is the grooming of the body. You will always, always, always have to be clean. You have to take a bath every night, and and I remember that there were four of us, and I was the oldest, so I would make sure that they got their baths at night, and then when they were down in bed, I would go sit in the tub and soak for hours and just relax. And then when I would get out, I would have to moisturize my legs. I was always particular about what I did with my legs, so I had to Jergens lotions. That's what it was. Jergens lotion on the legs every day to be okay. But that was part of what my mother, uh, what I got from her to keep your body clean because you don't know, and you know how you don't go out the house. You gotta change your underwear every day. You know you gotta do that because you don't know if you're gonna fall out in the street or what. And somebody have to pick you up and see dirty underwear. No, that would be devastating. So you always have to clean yourself, and also when you present yourself to the world, to look the best that you can, to not look shoddy and downtrodden, and to find what looks good on you and to get it and to wear it and to be proud of it. And that was part of taking care of your body. Let me see what else did I have down here. Yeah, that was it. Get your hair did right. I remember getting my hair done in the beauty parlor very early, very early, maybe 9 or 10, going to the beauty parlor because I had to have my hair look good, and my mother didn't do a good job of braiding. Neither did I. I never learned how to really do hair. I go to my children and my grandchildren now to get my hair did. Now, even now, I still don't know how to do my hair. So I learned that you need to keep that. That's part of your good front that you're putting up. You got to always look like you did something for yourself to make yourself look good.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm not talking about. I didn't really get anything about sharing my body or anything like that. I never, we didn't talk about that, but just that's what I got from her. The cleanliness and the grooming and to show your best face.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
So
I'm,
they didn't give you the speeches, the talks that you gave us about
no,
how to. Okay.
no, no, no.
Thank you. So
Mhm.
what I learned from you about my body was yes, number one, keep it clean, And Daddy used to tease us. He would say, "Oh, you take a bath every day, whether you need it or not." Just but
Mhm.
keep yourself clean, keep your clothes clean. Yes, you passed the same thing about our underwear. I always used to picture myself like laid out and get hit by a car, and I'm like, I've never seen anybody's underwear when they got hit by a car. I remember that very well, thinking that all the time when you would say that. I've seen a lot of people get hit by cars. I've never seen their underwear, but we learned make sure you have on clean underwear that are in good shape too. That was you added that to it was not holes, not raggedy underwear, clean
Mhm.
underwear in good shape.
Mhm.
Um, you taught us yes, you did take us to dress our bodies well. You dressed us well. I remember always feeling like, you're a little doll because you would come home with these outfits and they were always so cute and nice, and I couldn't wait to put it on. And then I was able to make my own choices for clothes, and you were very good with that too. You never forced us to put things on our body that we didn't feel comfortable with. You always let us be part of the decision, once we started being aware and having opinions about things. And you taught us about our bodies as far as sharing our bodies. I know you taught me. Um, you don't share your body with everyone. You don't share your body with everyone. Everyone doesn't get to see it, touch it, do things to it. It's not for everybody. And you did tell me that. I remember you saying it, and I remember Daddy used to reinforce it. You take, that you want to share that with that one person. You want to share your body with that one person, preferably your husband. That's what you guys taught us. Wait till you get married. Wait till you get married. And I almost did, but that's what you taught us. And I remember, and it was a valuable lesson because, the point that you guys made for us was, well, and your reason might have been different, but the way that I took it was, well, you want to be special, you want to be treated special, you want to feel special, so when you're interacting with someone sexually, you don't want it to just be just any old body, so you want to make that a special time. So if you just do it all the time, any and every time, it will lose its specialness. So, and I also took that to mean that I would lose some of my specialness. So, that was how I took it. And your husband said quite bluntly, what you don't want is for somebody to sit down and tell your husband, oh, I've been with your wife, So that was his point. That was the man's perspective, was always like, you don't want another man to be able to tell your man about you. So, but from you, it never came down to like what somebody would say about you or anything. It was more a matter of how I would feel about myself. And that was important, because people will talk about you. People are going to talk about you no matter what. Right? They talk about Jesus. People are going to talk. It's not about them, but you want to be able to feel a certain way in your body. And you want to know, what's been going on with it and where you've been taking it. And you also taught us about diseases, about, venereal diseases. And at the time, we didn't have the things that people have now that will take you out, but we had things that would last for a long time and, really could do a lot of damage. We had, we did have gonorrhea, syphilis, stuff like that roaming through our communities. And so you told us that not every man is going to be clean and free of disease. So you can't just be laying down with anybody, any boy that you meet, because he might give you a disease and it might be hard to get rid of. And it might be disease that you end up giving to somebody you really care about. So you taught us about that. And those were some difficult conversations. It was difficult to hear your mother saying these things to you, but I am very grateful for those conversations now, because it's, I realize if you hadn't said those things, who knows? Who knows what could have happened? And no one knew, the same way COVID hit us just now. We didn't know that, there was going to be HIV and AIDS and herpes and things that would last forever, that you could potentially carry forever. So those conversations were crucial for us, in protecting our bodies and, keeping our bodies clean, but also disease free. So I appreciate that. I appreciate it.
Sure.
And I would be interested to know if there's any person, that's maybe a millennial or someone in their 20s, 30s, or 40s that wants to share from a different perspective, a different decade of life, what they learned from their parents, their mother figures about their bodies.
Yeah, we have hands up, and I know Coach Cheryl has some shares from Facebook because it's been quieter for them. So Coach Cheryl, if you would, and then we'll go to the hands that are up. There are 3 that are up and prepared to share.
Hi, everybody. So from Facebook, we have Sister Denise West sharing grooming, how to wear makeup that doesn't overdo it, exercise regularly. And she said, though I don't. And yes, always wear clean underwear and dress your body, not just for fad. And then she said, Mom, that I look just like you. That's the first time I've heard that. Then Teresa Scott says, my mother was hard on us to make sure we were all clean. To make sure that we were all clean at all times. And she would put a cap full of bleach in the bath water. We had to wash our socks and underwear. She checked our ears to make sure that they were clean. And Teresa Scott said, no, that was Teresa Plaskett said, no holy drawers. And Teresa Scott said her mom made sure she had birth control to make sure she didn't get pregnant. I wanted to share, and those of you who know me know that this is my mom and my sister as well. And I wanted to share that one of the fondest memories I have that you taught me about my body, Mom, was when I was, I don't know, 11, 12, however old I was, when I had my first period. You basically took me and put me in your bed and told my auntie and my grandmother, and everybody came around me and said, oh, the baby is a woman now. She's a woman now. And it made me feel like self-conscious, but at the same time, so special and so loved, and like I'm welcomed into a new level, even though that's what registered in my heart and in my mind, but I felt like I needed to be more precious with myself because they were letting me see that whatever I was entering into was sacred and special. And they didn't say those words, but the energy of how they were treating me, it conveyed all of that. And so that to me is one of my most precious memories of anything taught to me about my body. My sister said everything that I concur, and it's definitely about staying clean and bathing every day and wearing fresh clothes and making sure they match. Now they have to match. You see Miss Betty with her yellow earrings and her yellow top. You got to match and be stylish and express yourself. And if you don't, she's going to say, why are you wearing that bag with those shoes? So it's definitely about how you present yourself to the world, and also respecting yourself and carrying yourself with honor, and like walking with your back straight and tall, like don't slump, and speak and let your voice carry, and don't speak mealy mouth down into your chest. These are some of the things that my mother taught us, my dad as well, and that carry, and that I just took it on and also shared it with my children. So I just wanted to share that. Those were some of the standouts.
Thank you. Thanks for that.
Oh, guess we can go to the hands raised.
All righty. Thank you. So we have Rachel's hand. If you're ready, beloved.
Yeah, sure. So for me, it was show up looking good no matter what you're going through. And it translated for me when even as a teenage parent, as they were younger, I didn't even want them to look dirty because my whole life was dirty, right? But I didn't want the world to see. I couldn't even allow them to be children because I felt as though it was a representation of what my life was looking like in that moment. Also, like you, Miss Betty, I taught my children as they got older, like all the ins and outs, right? But I wasn't taught those things. I was just taught show up and look good no matter what, right? But I also knew what I needed as a child. So I then kind of instilled that in my children, STDs being one, celebrating premenstruation, birth control, things like this, like knowing when to put my daughter on birth control, even though it's not the healthiest thing, right? But to prevent teenage pregnancy and things of that nature. Talking about healthy relationships with your body, or nurturing yourself, things that I didn't do for myself. I kind of like instilled in my children, and I am complete.
Wow, thank you, Rachel. Thank you for sharing. Thanks for that reflection. I mean, it's one of the things I will never forget, a poster in school, maybe in 4th grade, and it said, "Children learn what they live." And so there's just sometimes you learn things without anybody telling you anything. Sometimes those things are high vibrational, sometimes they're low vibrational, but we learn lessons, just by living with people. And and we can pass things on as well, just by being ourselves and living those things. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. We have more hands raised, I see. Miss Betty, you had something to add?
No.
All righty. Next person up to share is Brother Adam. So Adam, we're ready for you.
Yes, I'm sure. Good morning, Gina. Good morning, Humble Nation.
Good morning.
Morning, Adam.
How
He's having difficulty with the Wi-Fi connect. Adam, you may have to go off video in order for you to, there you go. Let's try now.
okay. Hold on.
Yeah, just stay off video and see how it goes.
Okay.
Can
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Okay, I just want to say that the person that taught me about relationships was my auntie who lives in New York City in Queens. Her name is Auntie Florence, and she always told me go wherever you're appreciated. Cause I feel like I never got any real advice when it comes to relationships from my father or and my mother.
Okay, there's some issue. I think he's driving in the car.
Oh, okay.
That was a powerful share.
Yeah.
Just what he offered up just now. So anything y'all, either one of you want to say about limited support, and then also having someone that guides around relationship dynamics. You know, we're talking about the body, and a lot can happen when you're engaged in relationship as it relates to the body. So anything the two of you want to share about that? And then coming from a brother too, you know.
Mom, you want to share anything? Well, I definitely do, and I appreciate your Auntie Florence, Adam, for saying that to you and teaching you that, because that's something that we, especially when we're younger, we don't get it, and we'll chase people and chase after experiences and try to be around people that they're not, they're not celebrating you, they're not appreciating you, and then they will use you and use your body, because you don't know, especially when we're young, right? I know we learned through psychology and things about the importance of our peers accepting us, especially when we are young, we're in adolescence and our young adulthood. And I don't think that really goes away. I think we learn how to manage those feelings. I don't know. I'm not a psychologist or anything, but but I have had children and I've been a child and a young person. And yeah, so when we let people, take advantage of our bodies and take advantage of ourselves because we're just trying to be accepted by them, that's something that can really have a lot of negative effects for a long time, for a very long time. It could impact the rest of your life. So I applaud Auntie Florence for, having you up in Queens and giving you some lessons that you're able to, as a man now, take with you and use, and that's one of the little things I remember reading and I love is go where you're celebrated, not tolerated. And, that's including your body and everything, go where you're celebrated and not just tolerated. So thank you for sharing, Adam. It's always wonderful to hear from you.
Can you hear me, Gina?
Yes.
I was also gonna add.
Oh, we lost you, Adam.
Yeah, Adam, it may be best to put your comments in
I'm
the
pretty.
chat, because your connection is in and out, and we definitely want to get all that you're trying to convey. It's just difficult while you're rolling in the car. You're going through patchy spaces with Wi-Fi. But drop the rest of the share in the chat, and I love what you opened up, and then also Gina's response. So we have other hands. Thank you, brother, for just your flexibility. We have Nia, we have Afriye and Sandy. So Nia, are you ready?
Yes,
Nia,
yes,
there you
yes.
go. Okay.
Hi.
Oh.
Great morning, all. So yes, I wanted to share that while my mom, she wanted to make sure that, after we went through the conversation about, the menstrual cycle and everything, and she told me the importance of douching like every month after the menstrual cycle. But she also said to douche with the vinegar and water because that would really, cleanse everything out. But then years later, when I actually started to have intercourse, after intercourse, I would douche. Now, she never said that, but that's what I did. And it actually caused me to have a venereal disease because I learned later that, the vagina cleanses itself.
Ashe.
And so all of that dishing with vinegar and water was an overload for me. So that was definitely a lesson learned.
Oh, thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing some of the things that they taught us that we learn about our bodies. Some of it serves us, some of it doesn't.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
but we learn, we live, we learn, and
yes,
we can do new things, right?
yeah.
We do-
Mhm.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just like some things that we share now with our children. We believe it's the right thing to do, but then years later, you may learn something different. You just one never knows.
so true.
And
So
thank you.
true. Thank you. Yes, the whole thing. The way
Yeah.
our bodies, the way we learn about our bodies and what they can do and how we've evolved, really is amazing. And
Ashe.
but thank you for sharing that, Sister Nia.
Yeah. Thank you, Nia.
You're
And
welcome.
Afriye, you are next. You ready?
Yes.
All right.
So just thinking about my parents, they were a great tag team when it came to clothing. My dad, we went to Catholic school. So every night there was four of us, four siblings. We had to put our shoes outside of his door. And in the morning, they would be shined where you could see your face in them and sitting by the front door. So when I was really small, I was like, wow, how did this happen? But then I was able to go in the room and see my dad shine the shoes. And then with my mom was a seamstress. So clothing was everything. My mom ironed our socks, our underwears, our slips, laid them out, our uniforms. She ensured that we learned at a young age that our clothes were to be washed and ironed. My mother was also one to say, you have to put on fresh underwears, even a fresh slip and socks every day. Because if something happened in the streets and if EMS had to come and they took your clothes off, you was going to, they knew you was from a good house because your underwears and everything were clean. Another thing my mom would do is whenever, I could only speak for myself, whenever I had an occasion in school or whatever, and I needed to wear clothes, we would go to the I forgot, not the seamstress, but the place where you buy fabric. And we would get fabric, and then my mother would get an outfit for me made. So that's another thing that I learned. We went to church every Sunday, and when we walked out that door, my mother would set myself, before we walked out, my mother would set myself and my two sisters in the kitchen and do our hair every single solitary day. There was no way that you was not going out in the street with a fresh hairstyle on a daily basis. And through those lessons from my mom and dad, I shine my own shoes because it's a representation of who you are, and to go out with your shoes looking stuff, And then if I have, still to this day, I have no problem getting some fabric and getting outfits made. That is my love. I'm always getting something made, and don't matter how much it costs. And it's just, I want to thank you and your mom and your family for this, because you are bringing up such sweet memories of me growing up and what they put into me that I am still doing today. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing, Sister Afriye. Family, it's 8:03 already.
All right, we were all caught up.
It is 8:03. So for those of us who have to move along and do other things, thank you. Thank you for coming in today and being a part of the conversation. I do appreciate it. It's been a good exchange. I appreciate you. So if you have to go off at this time, if you have to log off, I do understand. But if you can stick around, let's finish out the conversation, and we do have another question to go over.
Okay. So do you want to still hear from, I think someone took their hand down, might have been Rachel.
Sandy, that was Sandy.
Yes,
Sandy.
Sandy and Dawn, if you want to share something briefly, please do. we want to get a short share so that we can get to the next question. Yes, Sandy.
Good morning, family.
Good
And
morning.
and I truly mean family because I'm the cousin of the gang. And Auntie is my mother's sister. And my dear cousin's also online. But hi everyone. I just wanted to share, I wanted to say how I related a lot with what Adam had to say. And in terms of what my mother or my grandmother Nana said to me about my body, I didn't really get this, I didn't get great advice in that area. And so for me, like him, I didn't get great advice in that area. And I was told, Auntie, I was told by, for instance, Aunt Madeline had, words of wisdom to share with me, like with my first boyfriend or something. She was like, baby, you don't have to, I know you're in love, but it's just puppy love. And, y'all don't have to be so close. She used to see how close Dexter and I were. And so it was things like that that I remember and I still keep with me as I try to navigate my life with dealing with my relationships. And so so I learned early on, I think I learned lessons in self-awareness and self-preservation early on because I learned to look, I did learn to look outside at how my friends and their families were. And I learned a lot of lessons about dealing with body and from them. I know from Nana, I learned about cleanliness. My grandmother always stepped out to the nines. And so when I think of how I present myself, I think of my grandmother. And I remember one time I took a picture with some coworkers and my stance, somebody called out my stance. And it immediately reminded me, Gina, you might remember, it immediately reminded me of Nana because you know how Nana used to take her pictures. She was always very regal and like almost like a pageant, when yes, right. It's
Yes, her
very
pose.
and I've totally exuded Nana, and that's what I learned a lot by example. I might not remember a lot what she said, but I can imagine in my head, I can see and visualize in my head things that I've done. For instance, I opened up my first bank account and I know at Roosevelt Savings Bank on Broadway, and I know that was Nana's doing. And then the Mutual of Omaha life insurance policies, that's all Nana's doing. So yeah, and I learned from Nana how to manage day to day and month to month. I never got that savings lesson. I got the lesson, I just never learned it.
None of us did.
Right. But at the same time, I learned how to manage my money and to survive month to month, day to day, week to week, and month to month. And I think that's what I saw. And that's what I saw in Nana. And that was the example that she showed me. And I am complete.
All right, thank you, Sandy. Thank you.
Get that.
Sister Dawn has a quick share.
Good morning, Woo Nation. How is everyone?
Good morning.
Haven't been on in a minute, but something led me to hop on this morning. I'm inspired by all of the heartwarming stories of how you ladies were raised. I may shed a little tear here because I didn't get those things. My father and both of my parents have passed on now, so I'm not trying to, dog them out or anything. But my father was abusive, so therefore my mother couldn't really give me the things, and she didn't teach me these things. So I didn't know what a period was. I thought I was dying when it happened. And just the basics of what a young lady, should have. You all were talking about how you dressed and how your mother just, did all these things. Now she did dress us and do our hair, and we were we were going to be the Miss Americas of the world, me and my two sisters. But just the kind of day-to-day things, it's just, and I won't go on about this, but I did want to get on because I've taken a 3-year journey here to do my shadow work, to get to the root of the things that I didn't get. And I'm giving myself those things now, and a very intensive 90-day deep dive. And I'm sitting here today just giving myself kudos for the work that I've done to overcome the things that I didn't get. And that's basically what I wanted to say this morning. And I'm just giving myself a pat on the back and hugging myself and loving myself. And I just thank you all for having this platform to, let us come on and share. And this Woo Nation has been very healing for me. And I thank you, and I'm grateful for you all.
Thank you, Dawn. I'm sending you a hug too, because we need hugs, and we can give ourselves the things that we need now, right? The things that maybe we didn't get, that we wanted to get, or that we didn't even know we wanted. We can give them to ourselves now. So I applaud you for taking that deep dive and looking at all that stuff and turning over all those things and going in those corners and digging that stuff up. Because what you can, right? If you can see it, you can deal it, right? If you can deal, you can heal. So look at you feeling. So I applaud you. Thank you so
much. And someone said we live what we learn. So I am now living what I've learned, and just hearing you all and picking from others and other people that have come into my life to just share how they were raised and what they got. And certain people have done certain things that I pattern myself after. So I thank you all. I won't take any more time. I know it's after the 8:00 hour.
Well, thank you so much. Big hugs to you, and a round of applause for Dawn, right? Because you're doing it. All right. So family, let's take a breath, because a lot has come up. We're talking money, we're talking bodies, we're talking things. So if everybody could just take a deep breath in, just close your eyes and breathe in, hold it, and now breathe out. Let's take another deep breath in through our nose. Hold it. Breathe out through your nose or mouth. And one more deep breath in. Hold it. And we're going to release. We're going to release whatever we picked up along the way that didn't serve us. Breathe out. And let things go. And log on Tuesday. You're going to do some more releasing with Coach Kadeem. But so now let us move on to our third and final question, our third and final juicy question. And thank you so much for this juicy conversation.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Thank y'all for being the catalyst for it. So amazing. So the third and final, and I know it's going to generate a whole bunch up in here, because this community is just, really committed to sharing on a deep level. So this question is, what did you learn from your mother about love? What did you learn from your mother about love, or caregiver who identified as female, woman, goddess? All right, so who's starting, you or Mama Betty?
I'll start this time.
Okay.
And, so what I learned from my mother about love. One thing I learned from my mother about love is to love hard with all that you have. Just to love with all that you've got. Like, I watched her and my father and their relationship, and it was not always easy for her, but she loved with all that she had. She also loved us with everything that she had inside. I once did a regressive breathing session, this yogic breathing session, and I did a regression. And I was able to feel the love that my mother had for me when I was in her womb. And it was overwhelming. It was overwhelming. I came out of that session like my mind was blown. I couldn't even think straight. And I had to call her and I was crying and just because I felt so much love. And he said, yeah, that was how she felt that's how she felt when she was carrying you. That's the love that she was, if you were infused in that. And that just really blew me away. So what I learned about my mother is love hard, love with all that you've got. And then, I won't say that it was unconditional. There weren't that she put a lot of conditions on it, but I also learned, from my mother, by watching how she did things to try to also put some boundaries around things because I did feel that it was unbounded love. And that's probably beautiful, but for me, it didn't work so well to love without boundaries. So I had to learn where to draw a few lines. And maybe one day I'll come out of that box. I don't know, but that's where I am right now. But what I learned from my mother was, yeah, you're gonna, love is not always easy, whether it's relationship love or familial love or loving your friends, love is not always going to be smooth. It's not always just going to be pretty. Sometimes you're going to disagree about things, about issues. Sometimes you're not going to like each other, but if you love each other, you can work through things. And that's one of the things I learned. And like I said, it transcends all types of relationships, that information. And that's all I have to say about that. Mother, what did you learn from your mother or mothers about love?
Well, I believe that I learned those things that you picked up. I learned that, when you love, you've got to show it. And also to keep it going, you have to work at it. But it's always best to find someone who maybe loves you a little more than you love them, because that'll make it easier. That'll make it a little easier for you. But of course, like I said, I was always hard-headed, so I didn't listen to that. I just went on and did what I thought I would do. But my mother showed me that love reaches your whole life. Love goes to your friends, love goes to your family, love goes to your lover or husband or whatever you have, and you have to be good at it. But it works best when both of you feeling the same way about each other, and that way it works out a little better for you. But I wrote down, love is changing, love is fleeting, uh, love until you have a reason not to love them anymore. But go after it. Don't avoid falling in love, because that's the part of life. That's what you're here on earth for, to share your life with someone and to be loved and to get treated like you loved, and you treat someone like you love them. And my mother had a way that I was always around her my whole life. Even though I married, I was still around her. She bought this great big house and we all lived in it. So I lived in it with my husband. So she was always in my business. So she always had something to say about my life. But that was her way of trying to teach me how to navigate in it. So I appreciated it. I appreciate it now more than I did then, believe me. But mostly I just listened, let her say what she had to say, and I went on about my business, But love is good. And try to always find your way towards love, because love makes life worth living.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to just say before I end up that Bernadette is the millennium on the chat, and I would like to hear her weigh in on any of the three topics that we covered today. Thank you. Please, Bernadette.
She's no longer in the space.
No, Grand Rising, y'all.
Where are
She's,
you? Okay.
she's there.
Oh, there
She's
you
there.
are.
She's
Okay.
there. Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. So the first one was about saving. Okay, so I think it's important to save. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm just not appropriate for video right now. But I think it's important to save, and I was always taught to save at least something, and not only to save, but to invest your money because your money will just sit there if you save it. Wait, I look a little crazy. Whatever.
No,
Anyway, your
no,
money,
you're fine.
your
Fine.
money will just sit there if you just save it. However, if you invest your money, that's when it will grow.
Is this
For my
what your mother?
body,
What your mother
yeah.
comes to?
For my body, no, my mom didn't teach me that. Another woman in my life taught me that.
Okay.
But as for your body, what my mom did tell me is that the vagina is a very, very powerful thing, and men have started wars over it. So I always took that with me, like I'm powerful. You can't just have this, you know. So that was that. And then for the third question about love, I would like to come back to that because I'm still thinking on it. Give me a second.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
responding.
No
Yeah.
problem.
Love you.
Yeah.
Love you too.
So yeah.
Alrighty, so the shares in the chat. And it was great hearing from Odette. This is Bernadette, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
That Lavella, the one and only.
All right, chat drops. Let's see. I'm going to start from the one at the bottom and work my way up. So Terry said, I know my mother loved me, but growing up, I cannot recall expressions of love. She taught me love is expressed through what you do. Example, providing for your children with what they need, keeping children and house clean. In other words, show love by doing. My mom is now demonstrating expressions of love. I am struggling accepting her expressions now, but remaining open. And Nia said ditto to Terry. Dawn, I felt like my mother loved my sisters and not me. I asked before she died why she never paid me any attention. She said she never had to, that I always took care of myself. She then told me I'm the prettiest and the smartest. That was very healing. For you, maybe not for you.
Wait.
I was told.
What's the laughter about? I don't get it.
So just think about for a minute, and no pressure. When a parent differentiates and declares that someone is more of this or that, we're taught to compete, compare, and what I say it leads to despair. So, when you have siblings and whether it's 2 or 22, when there's an energy of a parent declaring and categorizing, it could lead to dissension and adversarial relationships in a sibling group. And I'm speaking about that as a psychotherapist, like navigating I'm having a session with a family after this, just thinking about dynamics in families, mother-daughter relationships, just all those pieces and what it creates. So that's why I was laughing about it, just thinking about it's like, you're the prettiest and the smartest. I'm like, and where's everybody else in the second order?
She never expressed that to my sisters. That was her way of making me feel better because she knew that, she didn't pay me attention. And, I had to ask because I knew she was, very sick. And I'm like, I have to get this question answered. I'm the middle child. That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
But it's like my older sister always got, my younger sister always got, and I just grew up. I mean, my mother never paid me any attention. She never spoke to me about anything you all are sharing about how your mother taught you this and that and the other thing. And I never got any of that. And even when I got pregnant at a young age as a result of sexual abuse that happened to me, I went through the whole pregnancy My mother never even acknowledged the pregnancy. I was 15. I never got any prenatal care, and I'm not trying to dog my mama out, but it's just like, I just had to ask her that one question, Mom, how come you never paid me any attention? And I think that was her way of trying to make it right by telling me that she thought I was the prettiest and she thought I was the smartest, which I am. But in any case,
See what happens?
she never made me the prettiest or the smartest to my sisters.
Mm-hmm.
So there was not that sibling rivalry that went on. This was something between me and my mother. So I'm glad I asked why you all were laughing about that, because that's not what it was. Yeah, I could see it if I was touted around as the prettiest or the smartest, and yeah, there would have been sibling rivalry, but it wasn't about that. So I'm glad I'm clearing that up as well as I speak.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go to Mama Betty because she got the finger wave. So go ahead. I bow down.
Even though she hasn't, even though she didn't say it to them, and she said it to you, don't you know that as siblings, the way you were feeling that she gave them all the attention, they got on to know what she was feeling about you, and maybe they didn't act towards it, but they knew that she felt that way about you. Believe me.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. This is even helping me a lot now, because I never could understand why, like my little sister, I feel like she's so jealous of me. And I'm like, how are you jealous of me when Mom gave you all the attention? You got all the attention. Not mother gave her everything. But even to this day, my little sister is just so jealous of me. I'm like, I never did anything. You know what I'm saying?
You didn't have to do anything. You just was breathing. That's all.
Right.
They knew how she felt.
And I will tell you all this, when my mother did get sick, she called my little sister and she said, tell Dawn to call the doctor. I'm the one that took care of her, when she in her latter years. And even to the point we were talking about, I know this is getting a little off topic, but even to the point we were talking about being an advocate at the hospital, and I'm teaching how people can be an advocate when their loved ones are in the hospital, that the doctors had pretty much told my mom, she had internal bleeding and they were going to send her home to die. And I talked to the doctors and I gave them background information on her. And then the doctor realized something. It's like a light bulb went off in his head, and he did something that stopped the internal bleeding. But yeah, and I know I was talking about the early formative years that I didn't get things from my mom, but in the last 2 years of her life, and I'm glad I went home and lived back in Chicago so I could be with my mom and take care of her. And we did have those special moments before she passed away. And I'm glad I got on the call this morning, because this has been so healing for me. And I just thank you all again.
Thank you, Sister Dawn. There's a couple of things, and I know it's late, but I just want to invite you to start a conversation with your siblings, because I know that can also help you, because I know you're doing a lot of digging and things. And also we have a women's empowerment group, Be the Tree. Shawnee has this group, and I think this will be a wonderful place for you. Have you done Be the Tree? You haven't done Be the Tree, correct?
No, Amina told me about it. I just had so much going on at the time. I was just doing my own personal growing and doing my shadow work and stuff. And I felt like that was a little bit too much at the time. But I've jumped back into Woo now.
Okay, so stay with Amina. Amina, so Amina brought you in. Thank you. So stay in touch with her about Be the Tree, and see what there is there for you. I know there was a lot there for me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have time for the other?
Yeah, we'll make time for the final three, and just asking for no more hands after this so that we can give space for Gina and Mama Betty to wrap up. So Jacqueline, your first, sister is next, and then Det is back on deck. Go ahead, Jacqueline.
Good morning. Good morning. Great conversation. Thank you, Sister Gina. This conversation, and I was having a private conversation with Adam in the chat, and this is so important because I remember how I was raised in my household, and there was 8 of us, 4 girls, 4 boys, and my mother didn't say a lot of things to make one feel better than the other. I mean, there was things that she would say to other people that we would overhear, but we still got the vibe and the feeling about it. And, you know, some siblings might act a little bit different, but I had an aunt, a very special aunt, my Aunt Dorothy. And what she did, and we didn't find this out until she passed away, is she told every single niece and nephew, "You're my favorite." Always been my favorite. And I thought I was her favorite. So when she passed away, we were like, well, I was her favorite. No, she told me I was her favorite. No, I was her favorite. And it was so beautiful because I always wondered why everybody flocked to Aunt Dorothy's house. And that was why, because she made us feel special. And I'm just learning now about how things we say inadvertently that we're not even thinking about can really impact our children. My daughter told me that, a few weeks ago that she didn't feel as though I wanted her. And I never said anything like that. But what she read was, I spent so much time with my son who was going through a lot of trouble that I didn't pay as much attention to her and that I didn't nurture her. So we're working through that now. And I want to do Be the Tree, and I want to do it with my daughter. And I don't know if that will happen, but I'm going to do it for myself. Because my mother's idea of love was, she would tell me it was transactional. What's love got to do with it? Food, shelter, clothing, blah, 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 blah. All of y'all are the same, don't worry about it. But then she married a man that she thought she loved who abused her children. So, you know, it's the little things that we don't even pick up on, that children pick up on, and they use that, you know, they internalize that for the rest of their lives. So I'm just learning, and thank you ladies for bringing that up, because this is something that's just impacting me now. I mean, it's always impacted me, I just didn't know, but now I'm aware, and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So much packed in there. So much. Thank you so much. Okay. So we're going to move to Sister for a brief share.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Sister, you ready? You still there, girl? And we're stopping at Det. Celia, I'm sorry, unless Sister doesn't speak, that's the only way we can kind of get you in. But Sister's
sorry, I couldn't find the button, disappeared on me. Good morning, everyone. Excuse me. I just wanted to share a little bit of my mom when I was growing up. When she would give her most valuable lessons, it would be when she was pressing our hair in the kitchen. So we would be a captive audience, and she would have us, you know, in this little kitchen and with the hot comb saying, "You must make boys respect you. Don't let them have anything bad to say about you. When I was a girl, the boy down the block did this and the girl was humiliated." So she would give us all these lessons when we were trapped, getting our hair pressed. And my grandmother, who I would spend the night at her house, occasionally, I remember when she would give us a bath, her bathtub was pink. It was the only person I knew with a pink bathtub. But anyway, she would be washing us, and she would give us a washcloth, and she said, "Wash your gold. You have to keep your gold clean, because all the boys, you see that? All the boys want that. So you have to keep it clean. Don't make them touch it. If they come, you just tell them to get away. You have to protect your gold." So that was my grandmother's voice, and I'm complete. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing your grandmother into the space. What was your grandmother's name? Say her name. Where are you, Sister? Okay, I think we lost Sister again. All right, Dad, what's up?
Hey. Okay. So my mom, I think she was raised by her grandmother, which is Nana. So she feels like she received a different type of love. It wasn't necessarily a "I love you," but the love was shown through, "I cook for you and I cook with love." So love is in the food, or the love is I provide for you and you're staying in my house. So she experienced that type of love. And then I got to experience a different type of love from my mother, which was a little more hands-on, like I love you. And, I feel like it progressed as the generations go on, because now I see my sister has a child, and that love is it's so beautiful, and she's so sweet. And I was there when she gave birth to her daughter, and I don't know, the room was just filled with love. Like, I don't feel like you could ever have a love like you love your child. Like, it would never be any type of other love than a mother has with her child, like seeing the whole pregnancy and stuff like that. And I just want my sister to chime in too if we have time. So yeah.
Thank you, thank you,
Yes.
Bernadette.
Good,
Thank you for that share.
Yes, I'll be really quick. So, of course, that is my sister. We have a 10-year difference. So I feel like we got different versions of our mother. But really quickly, I agree with everything she said. But I learned that my mother would tell us, if a man is like keeping you financially and taking care of the house, then that equates to showing love. Don't really agree with that. But me and my sister would talk more about that off air. And what she showed me is that you shouldn't settle, and sometimes love isn't enough. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheila. That was concise and powerful. Yeah.
And if we allowed that last share, just want to make sure that we balance it out to show love to Celia. So Celia, can you unmute, beloved, so we can hear from you as a last share?
Thank you very much. Again, my mother showed love by, she was very caring, help out the neighbors, send you to bring, breadfruit and this and that for this one, that one. But I guess because she was jilted, when it came to the relationship with men or a man, she was so independent that she told me, and she would say, you don't need a man to take care of you. You can take care of yourself. God gave you 2 hands. You have a brain. And that kind of thing. So I find now, as an adult, I've had a couple of relationships. I mean, I have 2 children and so on. But once the relationship is over, I go through whatever. And once I get back on my feet, I just don't feel there's a need to have male companionship in my life. I just feel like I'm working, I have my brain, I can make my money, I can take care of me, take care of my bills. But now that I'm getting older, I'm starting to rethink that. I'm in my 60s, about to retire, and I'm thinking, my kids are grown, everybody's going to go about their life. What do I have left? Just me? So, she did teach me to love people, be caring and all of that. But in terms of how to, feel the need to have this male companionship, that's sort of like void. And I think I probably have to learn how to regroup myself and try to think that if somebody should come, maybe I shouldn't be so strong-headed or try to, maybe push people away and find a way to bring bring the person to me rather than make them always feel that I don't really need you because I can take care of myself. So I'm missing, I think now I'm thinking about it, that I'm missing that part there because there was no father in the house except my elder brother. So I really didn't get to see the dynamic between man and woman. And my mother's whole attitude about being so independent, I think was a good thing, but I also think there was a downside to that. Just wanted to share that.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. That's a whole woo session right there. Yeah. What do we do next in this next chapter of your life and relationships? That's a whole woo session right there. Thank you, Sister Celia. And I'm always plugging for my peeps. Look up Coach Candace Harper, the love coach. Talk to Coach Candace. And get with her. That's my advice, Sister Cecilia, because there's a lot to unpack and you just don't know. There's so many possibilities in life.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for sharing that. There's a lot of people here in every space, and so whenever we share, you just don't know what you open up for somebody else. So I always appreciate everybody opening up their heart and their mouth or their fingers, putting them in the chat, because it makes a difference. So I appreciate the shares. And I am complete, and I would like to see if my mother is as well. Miss Betty, did you have anything else that you wanted to discuss before we turn things over to the admin team?
Well, no, I'm grateful that everyone had some kind of remark or some reaction from whatever we have said here, and that they were willing to come in and share, which is very, very interesting to me, because but I also saw a lot of the sameness that a lot of us had coming up, and that's why we are all that's why we're put in a category, because of the sameness. The things that we were told from our ancestors that we're still trying to do, or still trying to process, just like the Celia who just said that her mother always taught her to be independent, or which mine did too, but she never told me to push away somebody that might be loving you. My mother always taught us to bring out the person that's trying to love on you, and try to see if you can love on them and establish a relationship. Because as I said, we were brought here to share life with others, not to be alone. We were never asked to be alone. And in the Bible, it even mentions that to you, if in case you don't think that's true. But you're supposed to come into the life and make a life and produce children who become good citizens to help make the world better. And my mother tried to do that. She tried to do that. And she told me near her end how, well, I'm so glad that you tried to make something of yourself. It makes me feel proud, that you're my daughter. So that was so dear to me. You don't even know. That was something she said to me on my 65th birthday. So it took her a long time, because she was one who never said the love word. You never heard her say the love word, but you knew that she loved you because she did everything that she could for you. So that's a thing that we have to get away from. Not saying, we have to say. You got communication is so important now. As you get older, you learn. You need to talk it out with other people, and the person that you're trying to get along with. You need to say it. Because sometimes your actions don't show it, so you need to say it. But anyway, I'm complete. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. Thank you for those powerful closing words. And thank you, community. And thank you, Mommy, for being a good sport. And, I know this is not your lane, but you jumped in here and now you were driving us. So thank you. And we are complete, Coach Shawnee.
Wonderful. Thank you both for this really inspiring experience and deep and generative conversation. So appreciate the candor and the vulnerability. And this is what it was about. So just really, really grateful for another demonstration of how we live in this space and how we learn in this space. Really, really powerful. So y'all got to come back, because I just feel like that last piece just requires a little bit more unearthing. So come on back, and then prayerfully, the youngin, the third part of the 3 generations, will come and join as well. Or once again, we can have some of the millennials that were in the space that are part of your clan join, because it's the same dynamic, right? They are part of the clan, and they have the experience of the learnings of your family and the lineage building. All right, so special offer is up, and I would love your voice to share, Gina, what this is for the community, like what opportunities.
Yes, November 11th, 11/11, I'm having a retreat in Cape May, New Jersey. We'll be doing some healing work on our racial trauma. So my special offer is a $50 discount to the first WOO participant to register and pay a deposit for the upcoming retreat. So if you would like to be one of those people, if you want to be the first person to do that, please email me at sankofasojourns@gmail.com and let me know that you are interested. Okay, so just send me an email and we will get that moving. And otherwise, feel free, if you're not ready to do that today. I'll share in the Wake Up Everybody Facebook group about the retreat.
Awesome.
And this is all my contact information. So you can call me at 732-882-7387. I'm on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. Everywhere is Sankofa Sojourns. And my email, I just went over, is sankofasojourns@gmail.com. And I'm going to take this on. I'm going to try to do you justice, Coach Shawnee. So love offerings and donations. Shawnee always reminds us that our money, our finances, that's my own natural energy yield. So we give and we receive. It's a reciprocal relationship. So let's make love offerings and donations. You can go to Zelle or QuickPay. Go to SOW Leadership Development @gmail.com, or you can cash app $ Spirit of a Woman. And the code for today will be #686love. Okay, so make those love offerings and donations so that this can continue, this beautiful movement can continue.
Awesome, thank you. All righty, and we have the option for folks to give on a monthly basis to the Wake Up Everybody community and vision and movement. So you have the option of these three monetary values, 25, 50, 75, 100. And as I think about it, it's contribution pouring into a space that continuously pours into you, especially those that come regularly, or if you don't, like hearing Sister Dawn say she hadn't been in a while, but today got the experience of transformation. And this is what happens in the Wake Up space every day. So just encouraging everyone to give generously in a space that gives to you, and just the level of sacrifice of time. And for me, time has more value than money. Like doing that, like the leaders, the facilitators, waking up early in the morning, preparing themselves for the process, doing the onboarding sessions, coming to the facilitators training to prep. Like the leaders in this space are top notch in reference to their level of generosity and giving. So we just ask that you give back, and we thank you ahead of time for all that you provide. And tomorrow and Tuesday, we will experience the power of these two facilitators. So October 3rd, how to become a centenarian, which means a person over 100 years old. Veronica will share about that journey that she's witnessed with her dad, who is 99 3/4 old. His birthday, he told me, because we were talking the other day. Y'all got to see him too. He is so awesome. His birthday is in February. So just looking forward to that conversation for our short day, but still potent. Tomorrow, October 3rd, which is Monday. And then the next day, experiencing Kadeem, sharing how to actually let go. Because what I get out of it is that some folks are saying that they've let go and they really have not. I put in the chat today just that whole concept of perception and perspective. It can keep us locked and loaded in a space that does not serve us in reference to our lives and our relationships, mother to daughter, grandmother to granddaughter, like it just does. So thank you for just being awesome and just creating the space. And we look forward to seeing you in the days to come. What we say in this space, and especially welcome the guests who were a lot of family members from the new guests, family members from Gina and Mama Betty. Just thank you for being here. Thank you for being awesome. Thank you for lending your energy and your time. And we ask that you not hit it and quit it, as we say in the woo space, that you continue to come and flow with us and learn, elevate, and ascend for your highest good. So come on back. Because we want you here. The schedule for you to come back to, we're here from Sunday through Thursday. We're off on Saturday and on Friday and Saturday. So Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday are our long sessions from 7 to 8:30. You experienced the Sunday session today for 90 minutes. And Monday and Wednesday, we are here from 7 to 7:30. Once again, it's short, but it's potent. It's like an appetizer that fills the belly, but doesn't satiate you so that you can carry on through your day. And if you don't remember just organically how to come up in this space, we can send you automated text messages in the morning. So use the number 74121, and then the text thread, just put Woo Nation in all caps, and then we'll start sending you automated texts in the morning to remind you to come into the space. We also have paraphernalia or Woo swag, and encouraging you as the winter rolls in, get your sweatshirts with the Wake Up Everybody logo on them. Talk to someone about Woo through this conversation piece of your water bottle or your teacup. I'm a tea drinker, or your coffee cup if you drink coffee. Wake Up Everybody's sleeve for your laptops, which many of us are tethered to. We carry them around, we do our work because things have amplified as far as virtual space. And then you can carry all of this in your Woo Wake Up Everybody virtual tote bag. And you can write down notes and journal about your growth and development in the journal that we have in the face mask, because I don't care what leadership has said. Biden has said COVID is still alive. And I've been speaking to people who've gotten sick. So we need to still protect ourselves, especially when we're in crowds and moving around and traveling. So thank you all. Stay in touch, stay aligned, stay connected. We love you. You're valuable. And register for this week's sessions. Check out who's up on deck beyond who we just introduced. Join us on Facebook in our private and public page so you can see recordings of old sessions and you can talk with other members of the community. Join us on Instagram and YouTube, and email us if you have something that you want to impart. info.wakeupseries@gmail.com. So thank y'all for our pause for station identification. Would like to ask the entire community if you can come off mute and do our love shower. And if you're not familiar with it, you'll get familiar quick, fast, in a hurry about why and how we do this. So come on, y'all.
Wait.
Thank you, Miss Nina. Thank you, Mother Betty. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, awesome family,
Thank you, Mama.
sharing your
Yeah,
love,
thank
delight, and
you.
all that you are for this
Thank you, Mama
community.
Betty. Thank you, Gina.
Thank
For
you.
Thank you,
having a
ladies,
presence
for
for
checker,
this
statement for what it is.
You, Gina, for keeping your word and following it. Love
Conversation
you
to have
for
and
doing
really
this
share.
again.
I love
I
y'all.
love
Awesome,
you all.
Really,
Happy
really
birthday,
enjoy
Gina.
for
it.
everything.
You're awesome.
Thank
Just
you.
Mama
Thank
Betty's
you.
joy
Millennials,
Love
looking
so much
sharing your
about my
yellow,
children.
just being as
Thank
We
you.
love
powerful
you,
you.
Gina.
for your
Love you,
family and
Gina.
trying to express yourself
Love you,
unapologetically.
Cheryl. Take
You
care of all of
are
you guys.
awesome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank
This
you.
Thank
Love
community has
you.
been
Love
true
you.
support for me.
Love you.
See,
Love you.
thank you.
Love you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now.
Thank you.